Went down the wrong pipe.
Mm.
All right, so I see the live button. That means we're good.
Yep. Wait,
We'll get.
so-
And I was looking for the volume. Oh, look, see, I'm learning. The volume thing's working too.
There you go.
So good evening, everyone. It is 6 p.m. How about that? That's pretty good timing. So good evening. This is our second session today of Chat with the Chief. So basically what we try to do is just provide a forum or a venue that we're able to have conversation, some question and answer back and forth, ideas or really anything, right? How we got to this point at our media relations department here in the police department talked about using technology to branch out a little bit, to share information, to interact with the community, especially during COVID, right, when things were kind of shut down. It was a way for me to open up and interact and ask any questions that you all might have, and then vice versa. So I wasn't really sure of how it would take off, but it seems like it has been beneficial. Vanessa, how are you? It's good to have you here tonight. So long story short, I know things get crazy. Everybody's trying to do so much in so short a time, and things with kids and family, and I get that. So we do two of these a month, one at 12 o'clock and one at 6 o'clock. So we open it up a little bit different. So it's just a chance for me to have some interaction. Just hitting some little bit of the factors. If someone asks me a question about an active case, I'll be as open and transparent as I can, but I don't want to go too far to hurt or cause any issues with the case. We will try to be as open and transparent with each other as we can. We may not always agree on some conversations we have, but that's all right. It's good that we're able to sit down and talk with each other, and I appreciate that. So last thing I'll say before I start giving some hellos is if I miss a post that comes through, it's because I'm the least technical person you'll ever meet. But I understand how important technology is. But if the screen jumps a little bit because posts keep coming in, we'll try to scroll back. But if I miss one, judge it to my heart. It's not intentional. Sarah's with me tonight again, making sure I don't touch anything. Is that plant new? There's a little plant here. Let me just show it. So we got a little plant here for scenery. Calm, right? But that's really nice. But I appreciate Vanessa. Thank you for being here. Michael, it's a great question. I get right to you. Carrie, thank you for being here. I appreciate that. Annie, hi, Chief Sarah, and hope you all.
Hi, Annie.
Sarah says hello, and thank you for joining us this evening. Michael, any update on the 7-Eleven double homicide? If you're not familiar, that is the case at the 7-Eleven at Killing Creek. 2 individuals lost their life there. A shooting that occurred inside the business there. We talked a little bit about this afternoon, so it's a great question. It lets me know that you're definitely informed of things going on. One of the best homicide detectives we have is working that case. She has done a phenomenal job. We are not getting the same number of leads and calls that we did originally, so I will again put out a plea that if anyone knows anything or thinks they know anything or might have heard anything, or even if they feel or think something about that double shooting, double murder, to please let us know. I will tell you that we are still following up on leads that we've had or information that comes through, no matter how small it is. You know, a crime scene or a crime is like a puzzle. And there's these bits and pieces that all fit together to form a final picture. So it could be that one piece that we're just missing that links everything else together. But has there been an arrest? No. I can't tell you or I can't share anything about some of the leads that we're looking at or persons of interest or locations. I don't want to hurt anything, but I can tell you that case is still active, is still being investigated. But I will share that we are not getting the same number or amount of tips that have come in. But the case will stay active until it's solved. And I will just say this, Mike, before we move on, that when I went to the scene that night, my heart broke for that family. And then when we did our community walk, I was overwhelmed by the number of turnout of citizens who came out to walk the neighborhoods with us. It was clear that community cared about those 2 individuals. and those two individuals certainly had an impact on that community. So I would just ask if anybody knows anything or heard anything or believes anything, has any feelings about something that occurred that night, vehicle, individual, someone that made threats or comments, someone who saw something, to please let us know. That's a great question. And yeah, Mike, thank you. I really appreciate that. Okay, so we're going to scroll back up just for, oh, I get it, the other. All right. Hi, Chief. The 13 News here. We are wondering if you can offer an update on the Ashanti alert of Mr. James Allen. He was last seen missing on August, but you were able to tell us about the circumstances are, which let determine he is critically missing or in danger. Additionally, why was there no missing persons flyer on Mr. Allen in mid-August? Thank you. So we'll share a little bit with you. Missing persons report, when that was filed, we kind of have to rely on someone to file that before we're really alerted. We're trying to track down some of that information, and there might be some concern. I think some individuals, maybe we should have said something sooner, but they're looking at that. As far as going into the specifics of why we issued the Ashanti alert, the only thing I can say, and I did just get briefed about an hour ago, kind of update on where we were at. So I really appreciate you covering it, but I can't go much into more details at this point yet. I can tell you that information, along with maybe some photographs and other things, led us to believe that the individual may be in danger, that there's some circumstances surrounding that by some interviews that were conducted, and of course some time frames. And while I'm here, let me just say that if anyone ever feels that a family member or someone is missing or endangered, the sooner you let us know, the better. It just always is better to be cautious than I'm not sure, should I? But you know, what's important now is that we find him. And I don't want to go much further than that. I know the detectives are actively doing some searches and doing some things with social media. We'll be doing some things through technology as well. And I'll probably get another briefing in the morning or tomorrow afternoon, maybe even through the evening. I'm going to be here a little bit late today. So, yeah, that's all. And I know that may not be as much as you like, but I don't want to hurt anything. And there's some things that are in the works right now as we talk. So I just don't want to go too far into that. But it was information that we uncovered once the report was filed, and once there was contact made, in some interviews that we've had, and some concerns, and some evidence that we've recovered. So it's just important that we find him at this point and stay vigilant in trying to do so. But that's a great question, and I appreciate that. It has
I think they're talking about the plan.
Oh, the plant has a camera in it? Oh, okay, all right. Rich, it could be, I don't know. Annie, okay, we got that. We got plant for Zen. That's exactly what it is, Annie. I think it's to set the tone for the evening, right? Yeah. Kim, thank you for being here. I appreciate that. Ms. Brumfield, appreciate you being here. Thank you. Denby area. Did I miss that? That's okay. Well, that's good. I mean, that means posts are coming through. That's good. Charlotte, hello from Denby area. Ms. McCann, thank you for being here. I appreciate that. Carrie, I didn't know if I acknowledged you. I appreciate you. Thank you. I think about almost every day we need more investigations on this. We need more investigations. I will tell you what we need is individuals who know something to come forward. Just about every resource we had has been involved, and I will tell you it's a great, it is extremely sad. But we invested about a year and a half ago. We really started investing in some things that could help us with technology, without going too far down that rabbit hole. That has really enhanced evidence recovery and information obtained. But it would be very, very beneficial for individuals who may know some things to come forward. And it's like that in a lot of cases. Sometimes it's what individuals are just a little hesitant, and I understand that. I do. There's ways to share information though without, I'm not asking you to stand out with a sign and I saw this or I heard this. I'm just asking you to contact the police department and just let us have some conversation. But I will tell you there have been a lot of resources, as there should be, poured into that case, as in any case. There's been some recent homicide cases that have been cleared by arrest, and there's some really good traction on other ones. But the double murder at 7-Eleven, that's been hard for everybody. It is tough, and it is very sad. It was, I'm telling you, that certainly night meeting the family, as would be expected. But the following day, that community walk that we went on in the area, just the outpouring of citizens there was a really special relationship with those individuals and individuals who live in that community. That's okay. Let's see. Okay. Richard, greetings again from upstate New York. Keep up, well, Richard. Thank you, my friend. I hope you all are safe up there in New York. I saw the Mets just made the playoffs, so good for them. But I appreciate you turning in. I appreciate you tuning in, sir, and I appreciate you. Kim, I understand the searches at the high school, but will we as parents be notified as to why the searches were done, i.e. active threats? So help me a little bit. Are you talking about searches that were recent, or are we talking about there was some spoof calling or some swatting calling going on around the region? Some activity at some schools talking about some threats that they were able to determine pretty quick that they were false calls. But are you talking about that, or when you say we're talking about something that just recently, just help me a little bit, make sure I'm understanding what you're asking me about searches at the schools and being notified. Now, I will tell you that the school system, I met with the school board earlier this year over the summer. We did a lot of training about active shooter type awareness and threats, that type thing. And the school was working on a system about making notifications. If that's what you're asking about, I think there's some things in place. I don't want to speak for the schools, but they have almost like a tier model, and that was one of the things they talked about was effectively communicating. But I want to make sure that's what you're asking me. How could we meet you, Chief, if we wanted a picture or just to say thank? Well, I'll tell you what. If you call down to the police headquarters and the police department and talk about just sitting down and talking with the chief, they will get that scheduled. My assistant's pretty good at that. She keeps that book for me and count. She keeps it tight though. She keeps it booked. But we can always, times that citizens want to sit down and have a conversation, we'll make time for that. I'll make time for that. Annie, thank you. I appreciate that. It's funny on that post there, Annie's post says, prayers that he is found safe. I will tell you, I cannot explain how important it is, or the number of emails or calls that come in. Chief, there's a message that this church group is praying for you, or praying for the city, praying for the officers, praying for this case. So I will tell you, I'm a man of faith, and I think there's a lot of power in prayer, and just the support that the community gets, and to see people praying for others, I just think that's phenomenal. So I appreciate that, Andy. That means a lot. Matt, I was told by police close to the deceased that it was an organized hit because the guy. Yeah, Matt. So I don't know. You were told by people close to the deceased. So Matt, I don't know if you talked to Detective Rogers or not. If you haven't, we probably could arrange that. I don't want to get into any motives of speculation. I will tell you there were several rumors floating around, and I'm not discrediting anything, but it might be if you'd heard something like that, we could certainly set up at least a phone conversation with you and Detective Rogers. I'm just not, we got to be careful about rumors, but I understand you very clearly said it was someone that was close. So I just wish I knew more. I wish we knew more. I know there's a lot of speculation about several different things, several different theories. And that's one of the frustrating parts, is not knowing what the true motive was. Let's see. For me, I love true crime. I love watching families get justice. How would you go about becoming a homicide detective? Well, that's a great question. You know, uh, in law enforcement, I would encourage anyone who wants to get into the field to come and spend some time, maybe do a ride along first off and see if you like being in that car and hearing that radio, the calls for service and responding to calls, interacting with people and citizens. But to answer your question very, very directly, you join the police department, you go through the academy, you spend time in patrol. That's where everybody starts. You kind of learn the fundamentals of police work. Then you advance. There's a special victims unit that deals with crimes against children. A lot of our domestic violence is under special victims, elderly abuse, missing persons, runaways. We start doing those basic investigations. But those are also some of the hardest cases that impact the heart the most. You do a lot with crimes against children, juvenile crime, those type things. The next then is aggravated assault. That's dealing with our shootings, stabbings, and bad assaults, bad beatings, and cause bodily injury and hospitalization, and then homicide. So there is a pathway there. You don't have to necessarily take that course, but you have to have some foundation, right? We don't have someone graduate the academy and all right, now you're a homicide detective. There's levels to get to. I will tell you this though, having a mind that thinks through things, but the best asset for a homicide detective is knowing how to talk to people. To being able to sit down and have a conversation and talk to people, but also listen. And not just, we talked about this a little bit earlier today, not just hear what they say, but feel what they're saying, understanding what they're saying, and creating an environment where people feel like they can open up and trust you and talk to you. I think that is undoubtedly the best asset for any detective, and really in law enforcement, because so much of what we do is interacting with people. Someone that will tell you where the murder weapon is, or someone that will come forward and tell you what actually happened, or a witness who trusts you enough to tell you what the situation is. Those things are beneficial. Any updates on offering a concealed weapon class and offering a portion of that class? Oh, wow, this is a little bit here. Protected by law, where they are protected by law to shoot back when a citizen cannot shoot back. To refresh your memory, I mentioned explaining the class to family attended in Gloucester County that was offered by the Sheriff's Department. They taught this topic as part of their class on citizens need to be informed and properly educated as the rights and how they can protect themselves. So many citizens don't understand when they can legally shoot back or not shoot back. So we do have a Citizens Academy that will probably touch base a little bit on that. It sounds like to me, though, you were asking, is there a specific class that is structured around that the police department would teach? I can tell you right now, we don't have that. Maybe if you could send me some information what they did. I'm assuming you attended or know someone that attended, or just know about the class in Gloucester. If you could maybe email us a link or send us some information about what the Gloucester department. I know the sheriff out there well, but if you send us some information, we can take a look at it. We talk about use of force. We talk in a Citizens Academy use of force, tactics. We talk about self-defense. Self-defense, appropriate, not appropriate, able to walk away from a scene, not creating exigent circumstances, those type things. So, but it sounds like to me we would just touch on it in the Citizens Academy, a variety of things. It sounds like to me you're looking for a full structure class. So it would be something we could look at, but just maybe send me a link. But we don't have anything like that right now that the police department teaches. I don't know if our sheriff's office does that, but it's again, maybe if I knew what exactly Gloucester did, it might help a little bit. Linda, thank you so much. Thanks for being here. Yep, I'm doing good. It's been a long day, but that's all right. The long days are sometimes the best days. So we've got a lot accomplished today, and putting things in place, moving forward, making sure we've got some things covered. So it's okay. Thank you for being so active in the community. I live in Hampton, and I still keep up with everything. You have great ways of connecting. Well, I appreciate that. I won't hold it against you that you live in Hampton. I'm just playing. Hampton is my friends. I have a good relationship with Chief Talbot, and So I appreciate that. But yeah, I think, having that relationship with community is important. Open lines of communication, I think being, for me, right, for me, I'm not, no one else. For this department, I think being open and transparent is valuable. If we, I've said before, we make mistakes, and when we do, we got to own that, admit that, and maybe try to even explain, what some people feel like my perception, why did this happen? Well, there's a reason behind it. Why haven't you done this? Well, here's the reason. Oh, that makes sense. So I think a lot of things can be cleared up by communication and just both parties being able to sit down and have that. There was an individual that was a little frustrated earlier in the afternoon session, and said he'd been trying to get a hold of me. I called him right after, and he's like, Chief, that makes sense. So, but it's all right. It's important that we have those conversations, and that is in essence why we're doing what we're doing here. Joyce, Water Team Incorporated has been trying to get in touch with you. He said he left his number but never received a call back. So I know that if it's the group I'm thinking about, I think my assistant called them, or there was some email exchange back and forth. But we have, and we might have met at an event, but I'm not sure that's the same group. So I don't want to say that wrong. But I'm not exactly sure. Is that like a search group? If it is, I think we met, but we have not had a follow-up meeting. We met at an event in City Center, and then I think there might have been some email exchange between my assistant, but we haven't had a follow-up meeting trying to get that scheduled, if I'm talking about the right group. So I'm going down to Kim. Yes, searching students at Woodside today. Yeah, I don't, are you sure? So Kim, I'll say this. I know there were some calls at schools yesterday that were false calls about possibly someone with a firearm or something going on in the school. But it hit several of the cities in our region and some outside of our region. I have not heard about an incident at Woodside today. I don't know if you can share a little bit more with me, and maybe I can text or Captain Smith and ask him, but I'm not sure exactly what you're referencing about Woodside. If it was something though that I think that parents needed to know about, I would imagine the schools would send that out, but I'm just not sure exactly the topic or what the situation was. Logan, man, I was just talking about you. Yeah, so Logan, please tell me if I'm wrong, but just our conversation. You had some questions earlier. Took your number down and called you, and we had a good conversation. And I appreciate you, one, for posting that, sharing that we talked. But I appreciate the conversation on the phone, and I understand your point. I felt like you understood where I was trying to get across, and it was a really good conversation. So thank you, my friend. Our daughter's in middle school and is excited to serve as a young adult police commissioner. What age or grade must the student be in to join YAPC as an active member? It's still a rule that they must wait the 9th grade to serve. Our son, Abdallah, is YMCA alumni. Oh, yeah, I know all about my friend Abdallah, and his sister decided to join. So, Young Adult Police Commissioners, or YAPC, that's a group of students. It's a freshman, sophomore, junior, and senior from every high school in the city. And we meet with that group, so 6 high schools, 6 special forces, 24 students. We ended up somehow with 28 last year. I don't know how they swung that past me, but we had 28 great youth of our city. We meet with them every Wednesday, and we have good conversations about what they look for in policing, what they want from their school system, what they want from their elected officials, what they're looking for to happen in their city. Some of them go with me to meet city council and the mayor. They will do press conferences with me. They will go on community walks with the police department. They do a lot of volunteer work. We have a lot of discussions about diversity and equity. We have a lot of talk about teen violence or whether it's groups or gangs or shootings. Why we see some of these events taking place with such younger and younger people. So it is a great group, but we do use freshman, sophomore, junior, and senior. We feed them. The days of Domino's are gone. Everything seems to be around Chick-fil-A. I think we brought in Little Caesars one time. They looked at us like we were, what? But it is a great group of people, and it is really a way for the police department to bridge the gap with youth and bring youth to the conversation. In fact, that's their slogan. They even did a TV series for a while where the youth did interviews. But it is a great group. We'll spend time at the food bank in our communities, and some of them have known individuals that have been touched by violence or domestic violence. But all those topics we talk about and have very, very candid conversations. A lot of times, the media outlets, whether it's Channel 3, 13, or 10, will work with us and do some question and answer. They'll work with the youth about how to do interviews, but we interact with them a lot. And I will tell you, a situation happened at one of our schools last year. Before I talked to the media, I asked those students, and we met in a room, and I shared with them before I talked to anybody about the media, and I think that's being transparent with them about what had happened at one of our schools and how it laid out and what our response was. And then when we went down and did the press conference, they were in the room with me. So I think those things matter. That the youth are the best investment I think we can make. That's our future. They drive me crazy sometimes, but that's our future. And I really, really enjoy interacting with that. And some have gone on to join the police department in a couple of different fashions. And some are there's an alumni group that still kind of hang together. But I love those kids. And they're just a huge impact on the department, on me, and the city and community. And they do phenomenal, phenomenal work. So, let me see, Jerry, are schools being inspected by NNPD and suggestions as needed to better secure? So I will tell you, we did a lot of that at the beginning of the year in the summer. We did active shooter training or CRACE training for all the schools. I should say middle and high school. I think some of the elementary might have been invited, but I know we did middle and high school. We have an SRO in every school, or high school and middle school. And we talked about Dr. Parker and the school staff there. We have a great relationship. I know they came up with strategies, things that they want to do, presented that to the school system. We've done the same thing, working on some additional through technology, right? Through technology that will help us respond to things that officers might be able to see on their phone before they ever get to the parking lot or to the school. We've had really good conversations about how we're going to manage large sporting events. So there is constant conversation, and we're always looking at ways to do better and improve. So to answer your question, yes, and it goes both ways. What schools recommended to us, what we recommend to them, and how do we work together. A lot of it is about information sharing. If a student or a parent sees something on social media, some threat that's posted, and they share that information, how are schools getting that information to us? How are we getting that information to the schools? If there's some type of altercation in the schools that we worry about spilling out into the community, or something that happens in the community we're worried about spilling out to the schools, or something, God forbid, some tragedy happens that affects family members or individuals that attend that school, that we're able to share that information. So a lot of it is those communication, interacting with one another. It's us going to basketball and football games and concerts and just interacting with our youth. Building those bridges and relationships, I think, is important to share information, and I just see that growing and growing and growing. Lucas, I watched your officers investigate a fatal crash at Jefferson and Habersham on the 27th. It sounds like streetcars gone wrong. What is being done about the Saturday night street racing? So, yep, you're absolutely right on that's kind of what the situation was on the 27th. I know there was they found a group of cars. So there's what we're seeing in the area is individuals getting together that has these fancy cars or souped up cars and going to locations, and you may see some of it in social media, but racing up and down the street or doing donuts. And I think they found a location last week where that was going on. There were about 30 vehicles. I think we stopped about 14 or 15, wrote several summonses. But I'm not opposed if we have to tow those vehicles. I think we send a strong message. People get hurt with that. Not only citizens, right, who are driving home or driving from point A to point B and that stuff coming down, but the individuals partaking in it. We had that situation where it ended up in a death, where the car literally exploded because of the impact it had. So yeah, it's trying to stay ahead of it, to hear where those things are occurring at. Sometimes there's some social media back and forth. But the 7 cities, we've all kind of touched base on that, even as far up as Richmond, looking at trying to get ahead of those groups that travel. And sometimes it's not like, hey, it just happens here. It's one group from here. It's groups from all over that meet in different cities and localities. So we try to share that information and interact with those individuals. I have no problems with people parking and showing off their cars, right? They take great pride in that. But when you put people's lives in danger, including your own, then we have some problems. Annie, I live in the Denby area and of the city, and there has been a real problem on my street over the last few months. Is there a way to speak to you, or maybe an email address I could send a letter to you? Thanks in advance. So Annie, you can you can do it through Messenger here on Facebook. You can email the police department just to me. But what I would do, first off, is I would probably send it to you can send it to me, that's fine. But I would send it to your precinct captain, Captain Cup in the north part of the city. I know him. He is an outstanding captain. He's got a real heart for Denby. He's been in that area. He does a great job as the captain up there. There's sector lieutenants who are responsible for particular neighborhoods or districts. So it's really narrowed down who's accountable for what area. But yeah, please feel free to send it to me. You can write a letter, you can email, whatever's best for you. But I would read it, but I would be getting it to that precinct captain who we give him about 80 officers to address those situations and then report back. So absolutely. Any updates on communication with the city council about curbing panhandling? So I don't have any huge updates. I know there's ongoing conversation. Sometimes we get some areas. We try to move people along. It's not something that we're really trying to arrest people for. We've talked a little bit about this before. Sometimes it's individuals who are on hard times, or they're homeless, or struggling, maybe some mental illness, but try to find what the cause is. I do get concerned when they're in the middle of the intersection, right? We got to move them there. I don't want them to get hit, or cars stopping because they're in the middle of the road. But there hasn't been, I don't have anything brand new to share. I think it's just responding to some of those locations. There's been some success stories with some, getting them hooked up with services. We have a day reporting center, Four Oaks, that deals with training and resources and services for individuals in need. So it's kind of responding to it. A couple years ago, we had some, like we'll focus on some intersections where we have heavy traffic accidents. And for the year, we'll do heavy traffic enforcement, and that to try to decrease accidents. One of the things we could look at is where are some of the intersections where we're seeing a lot of panhandling in areas that can cause accidents or injury, or it's aggressive panhandling, and try to focus on that and address that. So I say that, if you have a particular location, if you're just asking in general, that's fine. But if you have a particular location, if you messenger us, that's something that we can take a look at and assign someone directly to keep an eye on it. Keith, I hope all is well. Talking about you today to the lieutenant in our training academy up here. She was asking me for recommendations for deputies to become general instructors. I suggested deputies speak Spanish so he could teach other deputies. I told her about your requirement to have a percentage of new recruits. Oh, wow. So how did it go over when you talked about our requirement? So what my friend Keith is talking about is we have a large Spanish-speaking population. So we have, a couple years ago, we decided that we wanted to hire a certain portion of our academy, our recruits, right, that came into the department speaking Spanish. Now, I know that creates some, if we recruit heavily, some individuals who speak Spanish might not speak English as well. We'll work with that. But I think it's important that we're able to communicate. So we now have the 10% of our academy has to speak Spanish. 10% of the individuals in our recruits. Now, I would say that for the most part, we're blowing that out of the water, right? We're getting 25%. They come in and speak. We average about 25 to start a class. But it's important. I think it's been paid off. And then we're even in other aspects, not positions that aren't even sworn, right? People in records or division or police aides. That's been very, very beneficial. Dispatchers, looking to hire dispatchers who can speak. However, I will tell you, there are some software out there. There is some software out there. One from California that we looked at that does, and I don't want to say it wrong, but I think that an individual can talk into their cell phone and it will translate in English to dispatchers, and dispatchers can type back or translate back in their cell phone. It will translate it into whatever language, not just Spanish. I think it's like 160 some languages or 127 languages. But we're again, right technology. What can we do bigger and better? And that's something that we're looking at. There's a couple departments that have it. We sent one of our Laura, one of the best that we have, to a conference. She saw this and thought it'd be very beneficial. She brought it back. We've already had a presentation and something that we're looking at doing for our dispatchers. It's important that we can communicate effectively with individuals who live in our city. Thanks for telling me about the process to get to the hot. I'll catch you. Anna. Did I miss Anna?
Mm-hmm.
Anna, how are you? Glad you're here. Thanks for telling me about the process to get to the homicide. I'll call and schedule a meeting with you or phone to talk about more. I don't know if you know, but Joe Kenda was a lieutenant in homicide in Colorado Springs. I do. I've met him a couple times. I saw that. He's now retired in Suffolk. That's truly what inspired me. Yeah, I got to see him in March a couple times speak at a couple police events. Very, very interesting individual, very talented, world of knowledge, and I will tell you, it's just crazy the advances. So I've been doing this about 30 years, and it went from being able to talk to people, and that's still, I think, still the foundation. But technology and all the things that are out there, being able to tap into cameras, I won't give away all the secrets, right? But it is just amazing out there. Forensics. When I started here, we had 5 forensic technicians. We now have 10 positions for that, and I just think that so much of that is just so technological, and I'm so impressed with the work that they do. But yes, it's interesting, and you try to determine theories and what happened and why, what was the motive. There's just a lot of things that go into it, and those are very, very complex investigations. We try to staff our department that way. Rule of thumb, the last that I saw was about 1 homicide detective can handle about 3 cases a year. That's kind of best practice. That's putting the case together, doing the interviews, keeping witnesses on board, providing the case to the Commonwealth Attorney, working hand in hand with the Commonwealth Attorney to present a case before a judge or a jury. So we average, our average of around 25 to 30 homicides a year. If I go back about the last 10 years and look at that collectively. So we have 10 homicide detectives. That's what we're allotted. And then we have 8 aggravated assault detectives that just focus on shootings and stabbings and bad assaults or bad beatings, so that they each kind of can focus on what's theirs and not get overburdened with all these different cases. It's important that we do our best to solve those. We call that our clearance rates. I'm glad to say that our clearance rates here in larcenies and robberies and rapes and homicides are well above the national average. Our goal is to solve each and every one. I know I'm realistic that doesn't always happen, but we're still going to put forth the effort. I think it doesn't bring any lost one back, but it provides some closure and some answers. So, yeah. Michael, how do we get police officers out there on the corner of Temple and Ellen Road? Tired of people flying down Temple in the morning when children are out there to catch the bus. So, Michael, I will tell you, Temple, South Precinct. So, one of the things is your post here. If you could tell me, is it like every day, a certain day of the week, a certain time frame? We can try to do some traffic enforcement. Sometimes we'll put specific overtime positions. You know what? For this week we want to focus on traffic, or this week we want to focus on maybe panhandling. But traffic enforcement is something that probably the number one complaint I get around is, Chief, we don't see enough traffic enforcement. And I just want to be transparent with you. We're always going to focus our research. Most of our main focus is always going to be on violent crime, making sure that our communities and neighborhoods are safe. And traffic enforcement, it has to be something that can't just go out once in a while. It's something we have to do consistently. It's something I'd like to increase. We have 2 academies in. We have one that graduates in November, another one that graduates in January. February. We're starting to hire for the academy that will start in January. But if that's a location that you're seeing a lot of issues, please let me know. let us know. I'd like to know a little bit more about time frame and days of the week, or if it's every day. And you know that there are cameras. I don't know if you know that there are cameras on buses that if you see cars passing a bus that's stopped, that's a pretty hefty fine. We have someone that watches those camera systems and validates that. But yeah, good. Just let me know, and we'll kind of go from there. Bridget, hey Chief, good. Bridget, it's good to hear from you. Thanks for being here. Hope all is well. Angela, the Citizens Police Academy is awesome. I encourage everyone to take the time to attend. That sheds a whole new light on what our officers have to deal with daily. Thank you, Chief, for the opportunity you gave us citizens to participate, and a great big thank you for all the officers and their sacrifice. So, Angela, thank you. That means a lot. Let me just take a minute. What she's talking about is our Citizens Academy. It's about 8, 9, 10 weeks where Monica White and others just do a phenomenal job. And what we do is we bring citizens in the evening and have about a 2-hour session. And some of us go a little longer when I'm talking. I just get into it, right? And we start asking questions. But we really open the doors to the department. We talk about use of force. We talk about forensics. We talk about homicide investigations. We talk about how we recruit. We talk about how we interact with youth, our foundation and culture about community policing. We talk about how we officer development. But it really kind of exposes the department, what probable cause is, what's it mean. And then once you graduate that academy, there are a lot of times that I will ask you to come back and help us, whether it's serving on our use of force review board or in role play, or we do active shooter drills, or DUI enforcement and DUI training. So it's just a great opportunity to learn about the department and just experience some of the things that we do. You can even do ride-alongs if that's something that you're interested in. But I really appreciate citizens who take the time. You really get an inside look at what it's like in law enforcement and the job that we do today. I'm with you from Norfolk. I wish you could be our in Norfolk, huh? Well, Bridget, I appreciate that. I know Interim Chief Goldsmith very well. I talked a lot to Chief Boone when he was there. So I appreciate you joining us, and thank you for all you do. I think I'm going to be over there doing some things with some regional chiefs. So maybe we can catch up, or please stay in touch, and we'll talk more. But it's good to have you here tonight. I appreciate that. Joyce, yes, that is them.
I'm not sure. I tried to scroll back.
Yeah, Joyce, is that talking about the car racing or the accident or the bus stop thing? But I just want to make sure I'm getting the right response there.
Oops.
It's okay. All right. So go up a little bit more.
Back up. Yeah.
Oh, wow. It's okay. It's all right. Hey, Chief, is there any way you can do something about people begging for money? It's like getting crazy out there. So I will tell you, if you let us know the area, we try to, especially the aggressive panhandling, we'll try to address fairly quickly. We talked to this a little bit just a few minutes ago that, it's not individuals that we want to arrest. That's not who we're trying to put in jail. We try to move them along or find out what the situation is or the cause, whether it's, homeless, if it's a mental illness type thing, if it's people down on their luck or struggling or whatever it might be. But the aggressive panhandling is something that we will try to address pretty quickly. So if there's, right, it's got to be something we have to stay on it. But I see some individuals that used to panhandle a lot in the south that we've moved, and I just see them progressing up and now in the northern part of the city. I think Joyce was talking about the group. Yeah, gotcha. But yeah, so if you can just let us know, maybe email us in about a location you're talking about on the aggressive panhandling, we'll try to address that. I can send that to the precinct captain as well. Anything you can elaborate on related to the city intelligence team and projects that will help in investigations, etc. So the city's intelligence team, give me a definition. We may be talking about something with a different name. I'm just not sure exactly. So I will share with you a little bit that we have more crime analysts, I think, than just about anybody in the area. And I'm looking, we have a crime analyst in homicide and an aggravated assault. We have a crime analyst in each of our precincts. We have a crime analyst in a real-time crime center. We have a crime analyst for our gang department. We have a crime analyst for our narcotics division. And we're talking about, Captain Smith has made some very good points, looking to have a crime analyst that deals with our community youth and outreach for our school resource officers, right? And issues that we have on calls that are threats made, just how do we get even a quicker response if there's something on social media about threats to a school or threats to an individual or something along those lines. So something that we're trying to focus on and increase. I just think that bringing that more and more intelligence in to the department is very beneficial in how we tap into other resources. So, Bridget, some people are desperate and need honesty. Yeah, Bridget, you're absolutely right. Yeah, and so I think it's incumbent. I'm really very careful about lumping, all people are just panhandling it. There are vast reasons. And I think spending the time and getting to know what those situations are is beneficial, trying to address the root cause. And I will tell you, look, there are some that are down on their luck, that are really struggling. There's some, I think, that mental illness, homeless. There are some that do try to take advantage of other people. But it's trying to figure out what that is and then to address it and point it in the right direction. But it's complex. It's absolutely complex. Linda, Chief, I had a black car come up behind me in Killen Creek and go beside me. All the windows were so heavily tinted. We know that's an issue. You could not see anyone inside. It was very unnerving. Is there a tint limit for windows? Yes, there is a tint limit. Some officers will carry tint meters that are able to shine a percentage of light through that. Was the driver driving aggressively, or was it just you kind of freaked out a little bit because the car was so blacked out? But I can understand, and I'll tell you this, Linda. If there's a traffic stop at night and a vehicle has those windows that are very tinted, it's a concern to officers as well. Some people get upset that we shine a flashlight into the car, but we just want to see who we're stopping or who we're interacting with. And it may be nothing that, hey, you don't have any lights on in the middle of the night, or somebody went through a red light, or you're weaving, whatever the stop might be for, but being able to look through there. So I know how that feels. I just didn't know in your situation, was it just I saw the car and it surprised me how dark the windows were, or was it aggressive driving? That's true. It's kind of scary when you get to a store, when you come out and they look at you, like sometimes they follow you to your car. You talking about panhandling, you think?
Yeah, but I don't know.
And it's funny. Scroll back up for me just a minute.
Okay.
True, very scary. So I'm going right under Bridget now. So, and I'll tell you, I've gotten some recent complaints, or concerns, maybe is a better word, some recent concerns about individuals on business lots that as you come out of a store or a grocery store that will follow you and interact with you. I don't recall any assaults that I've heard, but just people asking for help. And so I can understand that. Okay, thank you for the information and help. Are you going to be taking donations against for Domestic Violence Month and Lister? Yes, absolutely. So there's a couple of things I want to make sure that I touch base on before we get off here tonight. But I'm willing to spend some time. But yes, Domestic Violence Month is next month. We will be taking donations. I think we're putting boxes out again. And I'll tell you, I still learn a lot from the domestic violence team. I didn't realize how important Pampers were for those that might be going through a situation with domestic violence. But that hygiene products, but Pampers are such a huge commodity. We did a domestic violence interview today, myself and Ms. Shavers with our domestic violence team, and we just talked about the need. And so, yes, we absolutely will be taking donations, and then we'll have a get together. They make fun of me. They said, Chief, we're going to have a wrap party and then wrap all these up and decorate boxes to put out to do collections for donations. And I said, a wrap party? Music? And they're like, no, Chief, not music, wrap. Like wrap the boxes or containers. So, yeah, show my age, I guess. But absolutely. Michael, okay, Michael, so that's talking about the speeding. Gotcha. We'll make a note of that. I'll get that to the precinct captain and see if we can focus on that a little bit. But thank you. That time frame helps us a lot. I appreciate that. Keith, lots of questions about traffic issues and racing. Have you been able to hire enough to get your traffic unit back from patrol? So right now, what happened with some of the shortages we had, we had to put our traffic division into patrol. I will tell you, Keith, we've got individuals hired, but we still got to get through these 2 academies to get them to graduate. We have one academy of about 20 that will graduate in November, and another group of about 20 that will graduate in February. We're hiring for the academy in January. They will graduate in what? Right in the summer, around July. So our goal is to put about 30 in that class. But right now, our traffic division is still absorbed into patrol, and it will stay there until we get enough bodies in there to make sure that we're adequately, making sure that we have enough people on the street to respond to calls in a timely manner. I don't want to short patrol. That's the backbone of any police department, making sure when someone dials 911 that we're responding. So right now they are still absorbed in patrol. But we have started looking at doing some selective overtime enforcement, whether it's traffic checkpoints, DUI patrols, those type things to address specific needs in specific locations. Deborah, thanks for being here tonight. I appreciate that. Today would have been, wow. Yep, absolutely. You know what? Happy 80th birthday anyway. Just hold on to those memories, and I get it. Thank you for being here. Thanks for taking the time. Robin, thank you for being here. It's good to hear from you. I hope all is well. Yes, the water team. Sorry, no, don't apologize. Yeah, I did meet them at City Center. I was interested. I think they gave me some handouts that I still have, and I think we went back. I think they went back and forth with some emails with my assistant, but we have not had a follow-up sit down and really talk about what they can bring to the table. I'm certainly not opposed to that. I think it's a good working relationship. Can be a good working relationship. How we can use some of their talent and resources and things that we can do. So I'm certainly open to that. We just got to get that meeting set. Well, Miss Neal, how are you? I hope you're doing well. It's good to have you here. It's been a while since I saw you, so it's good to have you on board, man. I hope things are going well. The Citizen Police Academy is 8 weeks. So Anna Whalen is one of our coordinators for volunteers with the department. She has a Citizens alumni. So what happens is when you graduate the Citizens Police Academy, the same group gets back together and they do a lot of things in the community. They help with a lot of training, a lot of community and social events to help bridge the gap between police and citizens, right? So it does 8 weeks. You can join the alumni. Yeah, so alumni, perfect. And Chief, no matter what Norfolk offers you, say no. We need. Oh, look at you, and you guys get me in trouble. So we're going to scroll on past that. How do I get a police presence at 6:30 a.m. at my daughter's bus stop? I realize it's shift change, but these boys get in the road and try to take down signs and tear up the trees. Mostly I worry one of them is going to be getting hurt, but they are. Oh, you're not talking about traffic, you're talking about individuals. So Deborah, I will tell you, and others that have talked in about bus stops, we do not have enough officers to go to every bus stop in the city. We just don't, and we still got to respond to calls that come in. So there's a couple things. One, there's the police, and there's also schools. If there's a problem at a bus stop, if you let us know, it's one that we can put on maybe a hot sheet or a list that I can send to the precinct captain, and that we can hit some of those periodically. I can't promise you that there will always be somebody available at a bus stop unless we're called there. Second, if it is something going on and you're there and you call the police, we can respond to it as a call for service. But third, if there's a problem at a bus stop, I would also encourage you to reach out to the school system, to the transportation department, and let them know that that's an issue. They have individuals that can respond there and address issues at the bus stop, and the bus driver sharing information. So those are the kind of the different ways we can address it, and that's the way I would encourage you to go forward with that. I absolutely, one trip, you talking about that. All right, so I'm going to skip the Norfolk stuff. Richard, CAMs and businesses, et cetera. Yes. I think I know what you're saying, so yes. Annie, thank you. She passed on the 27th, and absolutely, absolutely. It was a great experience. The Citizens Academy, yeah, I will tell you, I got to meet the new group that's in there now, the new class, and I was supposed to talk 20 minutes. So I would love to say it was a citizen's fault, right? But but we just had a great conversation, and they had to pull me out of there because we were just going on and on and on talking about questions and ideas and thoughts. And there's a couple people from some of the school system that are attending, or friends that I've got to interact with, the kids at their school. So I was excited to see them, and it's just a great job. Monica, and she just does a phenomenal job. The CP AAA, the alumni group with Anna, they just do an amazing job. You are extremely valuable to this department. And it really helps us when we do issues with active shooter training or walks in the community or celebrations or community cookouts for some of the different complexes around. So it's just valuable. And again, they sit on our use of force review board, and it helps us improve our department. So I'm very, very fortunate and thankful to have those individuals attend the academy. And I believe that citizens get a lot out of it as well. They're not aggressive, just unnerving. I was wondering how our officers handled it. Oh, I got you. Yep, that's a great point. Bridget, come on, Chief. The drive to Newport has got to go on your tires. Norfolk is where home is at. Bridget, you're killing me. Analytical software for, yes. So, Richie, I will tell you, I could talk 20 minutes just about what our analysts, things that they do, that bring to the table. They're all civilian except one, and he has some military background. So it's very, very valuable, and they do just a phenomenal job. Joyce, that's great. Yeah, please do. They may be a little frustrated we haven't been able to get to sit down yet, but we've just had some things. You know, if you follow the police department, there's been some cases that have pulled me away in some different directions. So, but I do look forward to talking to them, and I do think there's a way we can do some things together. Ms. Brumfield, yep, she was an alumni of our Citizens Academy. Excellent. Keith, I know you're familiar with Virginia State Police Federal Agent Mike Walter. My charity is looking to award the first ever Mike. Wow. Wait, I got to see that one. That's okay. Mike Walter Memorial Officer of the Year award nominations are being taken until December 1st. So yeah, I'll definitely look into that. Mike Walter was a state trooper. So before I came to Newport News, I spent 25 years in Richmond. I left there as an assistant chief, and Mike was an individual that worked for the state police that lost his life in Richmond. I was there at that scene, to that investigation at the time there, Chief Durham, and so Keith, I think that's a great cause, and I'll certainly look it up, man. And if there's anything I can do to help out, wow, that's a great cause. Christopher, hey Chief, it's nice seeing you at Denby Day Parade last Sunday. Chris, I appreciate that, man. I'll tell you what, I had a late night, Friday night. We got up at, our briefing was around 7:30 in the morning to get prepared, and I really, really enjoyed. I had gone to a football game here at Todd Stadium Friday night, and then we had the parade on Saturday. I had a great time interacting with kids and people in the parade, and then I went to a football game after that. So I appreciate that, my friend. It was good. It was a good time. And it looked like citizens from all over the city came out to enjoy it. So it was good stuff. Jerry, your wife must be very patient with you as much time as you spend in the community and responding to incidents. So I will tell you, just being open and transparent with you, being divorced, I had a great marriage and a great relationship. We just kind of grew apart, and she might agree with you back in the day. I don't know about how patient, but no, we're divorced, still the best of friends, and she had moved on. Both of us moved on with our life. Great individual, but it's funny because that post we certainly got a lot of comments about that. So we'll leave that there, Jerry. Keith, just help spread the word so we get, so Keith, I'll take a look at the website, kind of see what it's about. I remember the wrestling side of the history that he had there, so I remember that. You know, my time in Richmond, two state troopers lost their life in the 25 years that I worked there, and Yeah, so I think it's a great cause, Keith. I appreciate that. We all caught up, Sarah?
Mm-hmm.
There's a couple things I want to hit on and just share with you. This is Suicide Prevention and Awareness Month. Tomorrow in our city, right here in Newport News, at 6 p.m. at First Baptist Church. Phenomenal church, great community partner, great police partners. At the intersection of Warwick and City Center, we've got a list of 3 or 4 speakers that are going to come in and talk a little bit about suicide prevention. And not only do I think it's important in our field or things that officers see and are exposed to, but you never know what someone is going through, right? So, and all of us are human. This badge and patches don't make us any different than anyone else. It certainly doesn't make us any better. But we are exposed to some things and see some of the things in society I wish no one ever had to respond to or see. So Sarah and others in our department have put together a suicide awareness program. It's just really some conversation. People are going to talk a little bit. We have a veteran that's going to speak, and some other individuals. It's important. Our mental health is important. You just never know what someone might be going through, or something that just pushes someone over the edge, or someone who might contemplate those thoughts, or has been. And I would just say this month being Suicide Prevention Awareness Month, there are people who care. There are people who care about you. You're valued, right? And it may just give some tips about how to interact, how to have conversations, how to listen, how to be there, offer resources that are out there. So if you're free, it's open to the public. It's open to law enforcement across the region. It's open to citizens, employers and employees, businesses. But at 6 p.m. at First Baptist Church, 3 or 4 speakers. It's not going to be a long event, but it's going to be interactive. And I would encourage you to stop by and attend. I'd love to see you there. We've talked about our 2 police academies that are getting ready to graduate. But we also have a dispatcher academy. I got to meet them today. We went over and had some fun, interacted with them. I believe they should be considered first responders for the work that they do. They save lives. They save our lives. And they keep order and are able to calm people down and calm officers down who get ratcheted up on a call where we may be going to with violence, or people screaming in need of help, whatever it might be. They just do phenomenal. I'm excited for the new individuals that are going through that. Val and Laura do a great job in teaching and training them, and they're valuable members of this department. And I'm thankful for our men and women who go into dispatching. It is a hard job. It is a stressful job, but it is extremely rewarding. I appreciate them. So I wanted to just share that with you. I want to share that with you that we're always hiring in the department. Like I said, we're looking for a new academy in January, so we're starting to hire for that. We're routinely hiring, and there's all kinds of positions, not just sworn, there's also civilian, whether it's dispatchers or in our records division, if you want to be a police officer, the different police aides, there's just different functions that we have. I'd love for you to look at our website, or if you're concerned, you reach out to us. I'll get you in touch with a recruiter and just talk to you about different things that we have. But we're always looking for good people to serve this community. And I'm looking for people I'm trying to bring into this department are those that think outside the box, or creative. We can't police the same way we did in 1985. I'm looking for people who have a heart for service, who care about others. Last 2 things I want to touch base on, then I'm going to go back and hit these. This is Recruit Community Week. So this is the week we take our recruits, our 20 recruits that are learning how to be police officers and the culture of policing, how to write reports and do traffic stops and interact with citizens and investigate crime scenes. We put the computers away, the notes away, we shut the PowerPoints down, and we take them out into the community. So Pastor Cheeks and others work with our recruits, whether they're interacting with individuals who are homeless or suffer drug addiction, whether they're interacting with our youth at our schools, seeing them get on the bus, off the bus, interacting with them at their elementary schools, interacting with those at Boys and Girls Club, a community garden, walking in a community, interacting. What we're trying to do is show the practical side, the humanity side of community policing, how important our citizens and our youth are. And we can teach that and talk about it in the classroom, but I think it adds a lot of value of taking individuals out and put them in the community and let them interact with neighborhoods and entities that they're going to be working with. So that's going on this week. And I think somebody pointed out already before I even mentioned it, Next month in October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. So take a look at the police department here. We're going to light our building up in purple. And domestic violence is something very near and dear to me. I wanted a domestic violence unit. We've done that. We're still learning and tweaking it to try to make it the best we can, but we've got a great team. And we see that other crimes are associated with domestic violence, but it's also about opening up and sharing and providing resources and getting them hooked up with the right individuals, the right groups, the right entities that provide service, whether it's a private group or a church or whatever, or whatever it might be. But we'll be doing things the whole month long. We have a couple vehicles that are wrapped, meaning that they are painted with domestic violence logo and awareness. We're doing some domestic violence overtime in communities where officers driving those domestic violence cars will be the ones to respond to domestic violence calls for service. But it's just important. I dealt with a situation just earlier today before I came in here, and so yes, Suicide Prevention Month is September, and Domestic Violence Month October. And again, I hope to see some people at the suicide awareness conversation tomorrow at First Baptist Church there at Warwick and City Center. So we're going to go back here, Bridget. I've always been for policing, but you take it to another level. Being involved in the community like you do is very much noticed. Well, Bridget, I don't know if everybody agree with you about being great at what I do, but I will tell you, I'm not in this job to get rich. I've been doing it almost 30 years. People helped me as I was coming up, whether it was there were certainly officers that I knew, but whether it was a coach or a youth pastor or a mentor, or a teacher, someone on a particular block where I lived or would hang out and play. And so I do believe that this job is about service. It's a heavy commitment. It takes you away from some other things. You see a lot of bad, but you have the opportunity and the ability to do a lot of good. And some things you don't realize the impact you have on somebody's life until 5 or 6 years later, they call and tell you, I remember how you helped me with that situation, how you talked to me, how you interacted with me. So, I appreciate that. But I will tell you this, I am humbled and honored to work with such great men and women in this organization. I see what they miss. I see the commitment they have. I see the extra shifts that they cover. I see the forensic technicians and the times they spend at processing a crime scene, or individuals that go through the academy and the physical challenges that they take part there, learning as much as they can. I see officers that spend extra time in field training and working with new recruits. I see how case detectives, whether it's aggravated assault, special victims who process and deal with some of the most heart-wrenching cases you can imagine, homicide detectives who take it home, and sometimes we have to make them leave. They'll stay here 48 hours when they're following things. I'm just honored to work with such great men and women, sworn and civilian both, dispatchers who will pick up extra shifts that stay late, come in early. It is a family. We don't always agree, and we don't always get it right. We make mistakes. I make plenty of them. But men and women who join this profession across the country, but especially here in Newport News, they matter to me. It's not just a code number. They matter to me. The sacrifice they make to serve the citizens of this city, they matter to me, and I appreciate it. Just joined on these updates on I just joined on this. Is there, Adam? So no, we talked about a little bit earlier. That's our missing person. I got a little bit of brief before I came in here. Some leads they were following, some information they were trying to track down, some connections they were trying to make, but nothing to really push forward at this point. Linda, thank you. I appreciate you, and thank you for the prayers. I'll take every one. Keith, have a great night. You too, my friend. Please be safe. Anna, thank you, Chief. Thank you, Anna, as well. It's okay. Just Keith on dispatchers. The true first responders. Keith, I agree. Anna, have a good night. Go home and get some rest, and don't forget to eat. Sarah, thanks. Yeah, Sarah did keep me straight. And look, Anna, I didn't touch anything, right? She's got it all under control. Chris, any update on the Yuri Lewis case by chance? Chris, I I will give you an update on that. Adam, thank you. I appreciate you, my friend. Yeah, so Chris, yeah, it is an active case, but let me share some things with you. Last Friday, we got some information in the middle of the week. We put together 2 large search parties. We used dogs and drones. We had about 75 individuals from our recruit class to all of our homicide, our major crimes division, the chief, the assistant chiefs. We were in some areas that were, I don't want to say we put people in harm's way, but there were some tough areas that we walked through. And I will tell you, I was a little down. We were all excited. We got out there started around 6:37 in the morning. And we did 2 large areas at one time. And we had some information come in. We made some things happen fairly quickly. All the stars lined up. We were able to get everyone that we needed into a methodical search. Regrettably, we didn't have the results that we were hoping for. We had to get out of there and get our shower and get cleaned up. But I'll tell you, some things happened. So to answer your question directly, we did 2 large-scale searches at 2 locations in our city on Friday, and we called the family before and after. But I'll tell you, we used some of our recruits. There were 2 comments. One recruit said, "Chief, they didn't want to leave. Do they need us at the other scene? We're willing to go there." And after they had been through what we had put them through, and myself going through it with them, the areas that we were going through searching, right? One of the recruits said, "Chief, would you please have a detective come to our academy class and update us on this case?" They took interest. And that is the type of individuals that I want in this organization, that care about other people, what they did and what the officers did. And I saw some frustration on the detective's part, but it doesn't change. We just regroup, go back over a timeline, go back over some of the information we have, and try to piece some things together. But that's probably the best update I can give you. But I did want to, you brought that up, and I did have that down here to share if we had some time. So I appreciate that question. Jerry, thank you, and it's mutual. I think we're blessed in this city. I think that this department has a great relationship with our community, our faith leaders, our businesses, our school system. Look, I can tell you, we do not always get it right. We make mistakes, but it is the drive and effort to try to make things better, to improve the quality of life for our citizens in this city, to invest in our youth, to reduce crime, to solve those cases and try to prevent incidents from occurring. The main thing that we do is provide a service to our citizens. And this job gives us the opportunity to do that daily. And I do not take the position that I sit in, I do not take it lightly, and I am thankful. I tell Ms. Cindy Roth, our city manager, thank you for this opportunity to serve the citizens of this community. And I think I want to, our forensic technicians, our dispatchers, our sworn officers that work midnight shift when most of us are home asleep, and those that work on the weekends, and the detectives in all different branches, our traffic guys, canine, all the different things, the guys that patrol the water, just all that you do. I appreciate you. And I have not forgotten that this is, am I correct, Sarah? National Forensic Science Week. And I believe that the forensic technicians we have are some of the most talented people. And how they do what they do, the technology they have, how they determine this and that trajectory. And let me just tell you, we're blessed to have them. So I'm going to get out of here. It's time to go, working overtime, and I got you. Thanks for looking out for me. Yes, they're a great recruitee. I appreciate that, Mr. Brown. Listen, please be safe. Sorry for going over. I really appreciate the interaction. Be safe, and we'll do this again next month. Some of you, those that had direct questions or callbacks or set up meetings, appointments, just email me, and we'll go from there. Chris, thank you, my friend. I appreciate you. God bless.